Alrighty, folks, we're back and we're talking 8-man football, baby, playoff football here with the Magic Valley Football Fools. And let's start with our 2A. And it's funny that this is the number one on the list. I know they're the number one seed, but Kendrick versus Not Us. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we all just kind of laugh about it because Kendrick is going to win the state tournament. That's just how this is going to play out. There's some fun matchups going on, but Kendrick is the class of really the state. I mean, they've had such incredible success over the last couple of years. Interesting enough, this is a 1 o'clock p.m. start there in Lewiston, and looking to get that out of the way, I think, before that 7 o'clock game. And I want to jump to that one because this one should be a fun little rematch of when it was in the beginning of the year, Hagerman versus Logos. And Hagerman's figured some things out right now. And if Logos doesn't give them the respect they deserve, I think Hagerman could beat them. But it really wasn't close at the start of the year. Tegan, go ahead and start us.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, these games are going to be in Lewiston. I think that's really cool. There's going to be 3 games on Friday alone at Bengal Field in Lewiston. It's a super amazing field. I can tell you the field was built in 2021. So it is not old at all. It was up, I mean, I was in college and saw them building the high school and everything up north. I think it was up in north. No, it was like West Lewiston. They put a bunch of stuff in a high school, some new buildings out there. Super cool area, an awesome field, like I mentioned already, and some really good games. I mean, you mentioned Kendrick's going to play No Test, Not Us. That one's going to be rough. I was going to put my good old Kendrick scores 100. Didn't want to risk it just because I have a slight lead over Alec now. It's not big enough to risk that. And then this Logos Hagerman game, I'm pretty excited for this one. The rematch, like you mentioned, this was a game. I think it was week 0,
Yeah,
basically
week
week
zero.
1, week 0. Hagerman struggled a little bit. I remember watching the whole game, and Logos just burst through the offensive line of Hagerman, a super young offensive line over there, and Maven Camp was sacked a lot. But they found a new identity. I mean, we talk about Maven Camp a lot earlier this year. He started to slow down towards the end of the season. All of a sudden, Case and Knight started popping off at the running back position. He's got 1,100 yards this year, 16 touchdowns. He's also got 500 receiving yards. Him and Cameron Kloss both have 500 plus. So it'll be super interesting to see if this Hagerman team can get revenge. But Baxter Covington is a great running back for this Logos squad. I remember watching the game. He's huge compared to everybody else on the field. Um, Knows how to move the ball, knows how to truck through some guys. So it'll be interesting. And I got Hagerman picked because I'm just hoping at this point that we can have another Magic Valley team survive and advance. And I think Hagerman's one of the only teams that can do it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just see that they got dominated early, and unless they really figure something out, it's just gonna be tough to overcome that many points. But look, two totally different parts of the year, right? Week zero versus the quarterfinals. Alec, you picked with me here, and you took Logos. Anything you want to add to that analysis?
Yeah, I just had bad service for a minute. Can you
I
tell me
got you,
her
man.
logo?
Yeah, Logos. You picked Logos here. This one. You want to add anything to
Who were they
Hagerman
playing?
Logos?
Sorry.
They got
Oh,
Hagerman.
Hagerman. Uh, yeah, Bengal Stadium. I'm gonna give Hagerman the benefit of the doubt, and they hang with Logos for 3 quarters, but some late game heroics go the wrong way for Hagerman, and Logos wins by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, should be a fun matchup. I want to get into number two, Camei versus our boys out at Raft River. This one, you said you've got this at Raft River. Is that correct there, Tegan?
Yeah, so there's like it's kind of similar. How do I explain it? I can't remember which game it was. But basically, if you're a district champion and you're playing a non-district champion, they feel like, hey, like you deserve to be
Wow.
able to host. So that's why we see them hosting, just because they are a district champ, while Kamiai is not. So Rafter gets a little lucky there, being able to not drive so far north and forcing a really good Kamiai team to have to drive very far south.
That's pretty awesome there. I got Cammy rolling. That conference was crazy good this year. And Raft River a tough team, but they had some sketchy losses in there as well. And I just think Cammy is looking forward to maybe a rematch there with Kendrick, or at least getting Logos again. Alec, you got anything to add there? Cammy Raft River.
Just uh, man, I know it's home for after. It's really hard not to pick them here. But Cammy just obliterated Glens Ferry, and not saying that Glens Ferry was as talented as Raft River this year, but that's more of a touting Cammy as an offensive powerhouse, and I think Raft River is going to struggle to keep up with those explosive plays.
Yeah, Cammy scored 86 points against Glens Ferry in what I think was the playing game. Is that right? Maybe no,
Yeah,
just yeah, in the playing game last week. So tough loss for Glens Ferry. Happy that they got in and got their sweatshirts. Um, but you know, to me, this is a pretty easy one. Tegan, you want to add anything to this matchup here?
I
yeah. I
got
mean,
Glens
like,
Ferry one. You don't get sweatshirts until the state championship games in football.
Hey, I wouldn't know, man.
I only know because my friends made it as coaches, not as players.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. We didn't even make the playoffs when I was playing.
jeez.
Yeah, Tegan, you
Yeah,
still there, man? Go ahead and give us a little bit of analysis here for Raft River, maybe some keys to success to get the upset win. They are one of our teams here in the Magic Valley, just one of three teams that are still moving on in the quarterfinals from the Magic Valley in 8 man.
yeah. I mean, like Alec kind of just said, Kamei is a super good offensive team. Lawson Landmark is a super great quarterback, 1,500 passing yards on the air, also 500 rushing. Everett Oatman, 500 receiving, 600 rushing. He's been super good this year as well. Those two pretty much man the offense out there, and they do really well with it. And then, yeah, I mean, Raft River, McCoy Spencer, a great quarterback, a guy that during the preseason I had Raft River making the conference championship just because of him coming back at that QB position. Like you guys mentioned, they've had some close games that shouldn't have been close. And it's hard to pick them even with a host game. I I do hope they somehow get the upset though for sure, but we'll see.
It's a Saturday 1 o'clock p.m. start there for Raft River. Could also be tough for Cammy trying to figure out, where do you stay, how do you get there, all of those logistic things for a 1 o'clock start. So good luck to the Raft River, and Raft River Hagerman. Let's see if we can't sneak into the semis here and upset some of the top dogs from up north. Let's talk about the 5-4 matchup, Prairie versus Grace. This game is going to be Friday night late in the ICCU Dome. All three of us have Grace in this one, East Idaho team, and I don't know a whole lot about where this lands. Prairie is the other team out of the north, so it would be a north sweep if all goes their way and Prairie sneaks up and those top seeds move on. But Tegan, go ahead and give us some analysis on this matchup here. 5-4.
Yeah, I mean, Grace is a very good team. Gavin Draper, one of the best athletes in 2A, 1,800 passing yards on the year. He's looked really good. He's also ran for 300. Two other really good running backs with Bryant Moss and Chase Smith, but their receiving core is also very impressive. They have six guys over 100 yards. They have three over 300. Cade Kimball, Cooper Anderson, and Parker Yost have all been super good, reliable receivers this year. And then, of course, Bryant Moss again, who's ran the ball very well, is a good receiving running back. So it'll be hard for Perry to get into it, but Cade Quintal has been a good quarterback this year for them. Did really good against Valley last week. 2,100 passing yards on the year. He's got a lot of good deep threats with Chris Shoemaker and Levi McElroy, who have both been super reliable as well. So this should just be a shootout. This could be very high scoring. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun to watch, and it's really the only game that I think could be very close. Prairie had the big lead last week and almost let it slip to our boys from Valley. Kind of an exciting game. Alec, do you want to touch on Prairie and maybe this matchup here versus Grace?
Shut up. um,
Nah,
sorry.
don't be weird. I already know she's talking about me. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I shut up. She's got
that's
to focus on
hilarious.
driving. We're driving through
She's
like
got
a mini
right.
Connor Passway.
You
What's
guys
that?
already got moved off of the road. She's got to, come on now.
Yeah, she got to lock in.
She got to
Uh,
lock in.
yeah, what I was going to say was I actually did a little bit of extra research into this game because I thought maybe it could be kind of a 50-50 matchup. But what I ended up deciding was the fact that in the two games that Valley played Prairie, Valley figured out a way when they were down big to slow down the Prairie offense in the second half. And I don't think it's because Valley made adjustments. I think because Prairie likely decided to coast because they are up by so many points. And I think that's going to come back to bite them. I think they're not going to know how to either play from behind or they're not going to know how to play from ahead. And that's going to be the downfall of their season.
Yeah, they had some pretty easy wins outside of, when they lost big. So this could be a tough one. No extra analysis for me. I think Grace is the better program, and they'll move on in that late night Friday night game at the ICCU Dome. Let's move on to our 1As, guys. Council versus Garden Valley. I thought Garden Valley would be out by now. Council, all three of us moving on. They're the class of the 1As right now. Tri Valley might have something to say about that. They take on Deary in a 2-7 matchup. 4 o'clock there Friday night at Bengal Field. So plenty of fun being had at Bengal Field this weekend there in Lewiston. And those are the two games that we've got kind of just moving on, 1 and 2. Tegan, you want to throw a little extra analysis on that?
Yeah, I mean, Council and Tri Valley have been at the top of 1A all year long, along with Cary. Council, Owen Hatfield, only a sophomore, and he has been outstanding for this team. This team is going to be scary these next few years. Their top three rushers are all sophomores. The only thing they'll have to replace is their receiving core, but I wouldn't panic if you can run the ball as well as they do. Garden Valley, it's hard. Like you said, surprised they're still in it just because uh, there's a little bit of a gap between the top of District 3 and the rest. They also have some young players out there, a sophomore that leads them in rushing and passing. We'll see how they do. I don't think it's going to be close because the last time they played, it was not close at all. And then, yeah, I mean, Tri Valley plays Deary. Deary, the king of the north, they were able to beat Genesee to take the district title. Jace Wagner, finally got to watch him play against Hanson on Saturday. He's legit. He's a great running back. He's their quarterback. They don't throw it a lot, but when he does throw it, it usually ends up doing pretty well. They have two 1,000-yard rushers on this squad. Wagner, the QB, has 1,700 on the year, and then Gage George has 1,000 by himself. So they're gonna run all over this Deary team. This Deary team, crazy story. I only did research earlier tonight. Mainly sophomores and freshmen. And were able to win their district title up north, and they're going to get a shot to play a super good team and try and prove themselves. Jarrett Keene, 1,000 passing yards, 800 rushing yards. The next running back behind him, Cooper Dammerman, a lot of rushing yards as well. And I mean, it'll be rough, but I think Tri-Valley Council will handle business.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. I want to get into talking about Wallace and Genesee. Your boy Miller Time still in this thing, man. And I picked Genesee just thinking, God, they've been having a great year. Totally forgot that they didn't win their conference, and I'm second guessing my pick here a little bit. But Alec, you were on the Miller Time bandwagon early, and you did pick Genesee in this one. Talk about your pick, and how could you possibly pick against Miller Time, dog?
It's because Miller Time is a one-man show. No, that's probably not true. I'm sure he's got a great team around him, and he's got great teammates. But he's just the only kid I know from this team, you know. And I was going to make a silly comment about how Genesee is a 2A school playing down in the 1A ranks. But then I realized so is Wallace.
Nice.
So I don't know that there's any correlation there, but Genesee's just been playing well this year. They obviously have a decent team, and Cooper is just still somewhat of a young player. And I think, Genesee's probably got the athletes to corral him from getting his nice dual threat quarterback stat lines. And it's going to send him home a little early. I'm disappointed for that because I don't know a single player from Genesee's roster, but I think that's going to be the closing chapter on this season for our boy Miller Time.
Yeah, Tegan, give us the lowdown, man. You got Miller Time in all caps here on the pick.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, Miller Time, one of the best players in the state, a rising star, came onto the scene in the Idaho Bowl. I'm glad they run that every year. We get to see some of the middle school talent, some future athletes. Yeah, he's got 2,300 passing yards on the year, 33 tutties, only one pick. He's got 1,300 rushing yards and 25 TDs. And like Alex said, it is kind of a one-man show, but still, you got another sophomore in Ashton Holbert with 500 rushing yards on the year. You have another sophomore in Lennox Radford who has, 400 rushing yards and 700 receiving yards on the year. You have a junior in Henry Larson who's got 973 in receiving yards this year. So this team is solid all around, and yes, I will help you gain your confidence back. Genesee did beat this Wallace squad 22-18 earlier this year. It was a super close matchup, but I do think Wallace will bounce back from this just because I think what the thought process needs to be for this team is you either win now or the next 2 years you're going to lose to Kendrick in conference and you're not going to make it back. I can't remember if it's conference or not. No, it's not. But Wallace will probably meet Kendrick in state the next 2 years in football, and it's not going to look good just because we all know how Kendrick is. So this is kind of their last year to get it done before they play that juggernaut in the state playoffs. They'll still be able to run their conference, but this is the year they got to get it done, and it would be really cool to see this sophomore loaded squad try and go win the chip. So I'm going with Miller Time.
Miller Time, baby. I appreciate you giving me some confidence. 22-18 in that Genesee versus Wallace. Genesee pulling it out. So fun little matchup there. And that leads us to our last matchup we're talking about for the night, guys. This is Cary versus Coeur de Christ. and I do not recognize where that place is, where these guys are going to play. It's going to be a Saturday afternoon game. They're a 1 o'clock start on the 8th, and it looks like Carey's going to have to travel with just the one loss. Tegan, talk to me a little bit about that and the situation that Carey's in. Coeur d'Alene having a great year this year.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a school that was only, oh man, when was it made? It was just a couple years ago they established it. A super solid squad. They got a really good kid at quarterback. I think it's Grant Clemens. He's got 1,500 passing yards on the year. Their top running back is John Dankey. He's got 973. Clemens is only a sophomore, so we got two really solid sophomore quarterbacks up in District 1 right now with Miller Time and Clemens. And their receiving core, um, Greg Hayes is their leading receiver, but I'm looking at their stats right here, and pretty much other than Hayes, every kid is a junior and a junior or a sophomore, and even some freshmen receiving. So this squad is decent. I think the next few years they'll be pretty good, but they're gonna have to slow down my hopeful 1A state player of the year in Stockton Sears. He's been ridiculous so far this year. 1,800 rushing yards with 26 touchdowns. He's got 2 touchdowns receiving. He's been super good this year. He's got a young quarterback, though, which is where the receiving game is going to be the real question. And we talked about earlier squads being coached by really good coaches with a lot of experience. Kellen Clemens, the head coach of the squad, his son, of course, Grant Clemens, the quarterback. Kellen Clemens played for the Chargers in the NFL, as well as the Redskins, Jets, Texans, and Rams.
Nice.
So this is another one of those where we see an NFL quarterback going somewhere to coach. Funny enough, I think he was part of the process of making this school. It is a Christian academy. It's in Worley. I think that's how you pronounce it. Carey is either going to have to drive up the left side of Idaho's border, or they're going to have to go all the way up to Montana and over. It's a super long drive. It'll be interesting to see how they handle it. Of course, luckily they play on Saturday, so I'm assuming they're going to head up Thursday or Friday. We'll have to see. But I think this should be a super fun matchup.
Yeah, tough travel, man, and really kind of too bad for a Carey team that has had just an incredible year, but that one loss to Valley, it may have put them into this situation. And Alec, why don't you talk to me a little bit about Carey and kind of their position that they're in? You talk always, all the time about the crazy travel that some of these teams have to deal with.
Yeah, well, since we brought up Montana and I'm currently driving through Montana, I thought it'd be fun to quickly mention that I have a friend, former Dietrich athletic director and football coach, who lives here now, and my parents live here. My sister lives here, um, and my buddy Brody and my dad have both talked about how when the playoffs come around up here, it's kind of a similar situation where there's a ton of towns and schools on the western side of Idaho, and there's Montana, and there's a ton of schools on the eastern side, and you're usually hoping that you don't have to make that long, boring drive across the middle of the state because there's nothing out there in the middle. Uh, and I think that's, I don't know. I mean, there's been a couple years where carriers traveled up north and they've traveled well, but this is just being a younger group. I don't know that they've done that yet, and that might be down to might be uh, might be their downfall this year. I hope they win. It feels a little wrong to root for Cary as a former district rival, but uh, yeah, let's keep the District 4 hype a little bit alive here. Let's bring at least one banner home to Magic Valley. Cary's probably got the best shot left out of any of the three divisions we're playing in. And interesting to know that I remember Kellen Clemens. I always got Kellen Clemens and I think it's Kellen Wilson mixed up back in the day when I first got introduced to the NFL. So interesting story that he's over there at Quarter Christ now. And like Deacon said, just because school is like 3 or 4 years old, so great for their program to be this competitive this soon.
Yeah, it's going to come down to, can Carey actually get through the adversity, right? You got to think that Coeur de Christ is going to stop Sears from doing what he does all the time. Now, can Carey adjust and maybe put the ball in the air a little bit, or find a way to get him, Stockton Steers, some space where he can use that speed and take over? 1 o'clock start. All three of us picking the pride of Blaine County here with Carey on that 5-4 matchup, and really probably the best matchup that's going in these 8-mans. Anybody want to talk a little bit more about 8-mans? I think it's always so fun, such a different feel with so much space out there. Alec, you played an 8-man and 11-man, but really kind of a special thing. We've got so many teams playing with in 8-man.
Yeah, I was just gonna point out that how many young quarterbacks Deacon pointed out as we started going through these 8-man teams, and I don't know if they even touched on Carey's sophomore quarterback as well. Is it Jonas Aili, Tegan, or did I get the wrong brother there?
Jonas Ailey.
Yeah, okay. I can't remember which one is the older one, but yeah, you got Cooper Miller, Jonas Aili, the Clemens kid now from Cooter Christ, and I think we mentioned a couple at the 2A division level. But in crazy how many young quarterbacks we have that are really playing at a high level right now. So really bright future for the next couple of years as far as competitiveness level for the next few years.
Absolutely, man. Tegan, last word here for our 8-man brackets.
Go Magic Valley. That's all I got.
Go Magic Valley, baby. Bring some pride home to the boys. We're the Magic Valley Football Fools, talking quarterfinals. And good luck to our boys, guys. Great show, guys. Appreciate the time. Alec, drive safe. Keep her awake, will ya? And enjoy your vacation. I'm going to miss you at work tomorrow, buddy. Take it easy.